What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 12 of your weekly Wheaties. This week we're going to talk about scammers or spammers, depending on how you look at them. What I want to talk to you about is trying to keep you safe online and in the physical world. So we'll talk a little bit about emails, phone calls, but also people that solicit, because there's a few nuances there I'd like to discuss I think might find useful for you. So the first thing is generic emails, right? And we're talking about, hey, I'm a prince in Nigeria. I want to share my wealth with you. Click this link, send me 1 Bitcoin, and I'll send you back 10. Obviously, all of that's a scam. But what about these newer ones where people are emailing you and saying, hey, there's some unseen charges on your PayPal account or your credit card or Amazon? Let's see, I've gotten one that said, I'm trying to think what it was. Sometimes they get funny just because one of the most common things is they misspell words. And they try to do that sometimes intentionally to catch you off guard. But, it was your electricity bill has unseen. And I'm like, yeah, my electricity bill's going up. Isn't everybody's? And they know that. So they're using that against you to try to get you to click it and see what the issue is, to fix it, and they're trying to hack your accounts that way. So if you get an email that you did not solicit for yourself, and it's a company trying to tell you that they're going to save you money or give you money, or this product is on sale or whatever it might be, one, check to see if it's something you're familiar with, first of all, right? If it's a Discover credit card and you don't have a Discover, that's your first tip there. 2, look at the email that it's sending from. If it's somebody's name and it's not something generic or it's not a contact, that's your second tip. And then 3, look at the exact email, contact email, not the email name, but like literally mouse over the email that it came from and click it and see what the email is with the @whatever.com on the extension. Because sometimes people can trick you into thinking that it's an exact email because they're using the same Amazon logo. Their email says contact Amazon, whatever. But if you actually click on the email name, or if your email client doesn't allow you to do that, you can simply click reply, and in line with the email that you're sending, it'll have the email you're sending it back to. And if you don't see anything that says @amazon.com, or if it's got some craziness before but it still says amazon.com, people can buy domains that might still have Amazon in the domain. So it looks like they're part of Amazon, but in reality they're not. And I'm using Amazon as an example, but it could be any business or any email domain for that matter. So that's your 3 tips to kind of keep safe with email. Generally speaking, if it goes into your spam folder, it should probably be there. But if it happens to make it past spam and come into inbox, simply just check the email that it's coming from. Check to see if there's any misspellings, if anything looks crazy or off. That's some big hit or tips, if you will. Then I want to talk about phone calls. So let's say you receive a phone call and somebody's saying they're with the FBI, or the car warranty is the major one, right? But we all know about the car warranty ones. Nobody's calling you about their car warranty. A more popular one has to do with like tax fraud or tax evasion. And they say, hey, look, we see you paid your taxes, but unfortunately you paid the wrong amount. You owe this. And since it's already been closed, you can't send us a check, or there's no way to pay with a credit card. You have to pay with you have to pay with gift cards. And they started with Visa gift cards, but then they switched to like Amazon gift cards and Google Play gift cards. That is like number one. That doesn't happen. People don't get you to pay them with Google Play gift cards. Come on now. They know stuff about you though. So how does that happen? And that's why people fall for this, is because they're like, I just talked to so-and-so. They knew this person. They knew my address. They knew my name. Like, they have all this information about me. Well, that's where I want to go into these people who start scamming you in person. especially when they solicit at your house. They'll come knock on your door. They'll say, hey, is Mr. Smith in? And you're like, okay, well, my last name's Mr. Smith, but I don't know who you are. How do you know who we are? How do you even know who lives here, right? And then they'll say something like, we noticed that you have cable with us. I'm with Cox. You see Cox logo on my shirt. I have a clipboard. I look official, right? Sorry, my car is parked down the street. We're walking house to house because it's easier that way. That's a few little nuances that help you. If they park down the street, it's probably because they parked in a vehicle with an out-of-state plate, because people who do these scams come from out of state, or they get a rental car, or they just use a car that's not theirs so that they appear to be within their argument that they use to prove to you who they are. They say they're from out of state because they're a contractor with the cable company. Other people that do it is these like bug spray companies. They want to come spray your house for bugs or weeds or whatever it might be. And their argument is they're from out of state. They're trying to do a new company in the city, the state, whatever it might be. So they're new and they hadn't changed all their plates yet. Cool. A lot of times they get people out of college to do this for them. And they might not even know any of the wiser, but there's proof that this is a scam. If you check the news, there's been people who have been scammed within the last few months, at least in the greater Baton Rouge area here in Louisiana. But anybody can do this. I can do this. You can do this. There are websites that you can go to. I'm not going to tell you, because if you want to find it, you can find it. But these websites literally tell you who are the people who are the owners of the house. And that's the number one reason you can kind of check and see if they actually know who they're talking about. Because they might ask for the homeowner, and if it's a rental, it's not you, obviously. Or if you just purchased the house, it's not you. So that's your red flag number one. The states from out, or the plates from out of states, red flag number two. Number three is they think they know something about you, which may or may not be true. So for instance, I used to have DirecTV, so there's a place for a DirecTV satellite on my roof. So they'll be like, hey, we see you used to be with DirecTV. Are you interested in switching to Cox cable? And it's like, or they'll say, my records indicate you used to be with DirecTV, or you're a DirecTV customer. Would you like to switch to Cox cable? And if they have AT&T on their shirt, they'll say, how are you liking your service? Oh, you don't have it anymore? Well, can we ask why you switched? Can I talk you into getting it back? I'm a contractor. Keywords that they use. We can offer you discounts that you can't get directly from the company because we're a contractor through them. And they're telling the truth, but they're making it look prettier than it is. If they're a contractor, they can offer better rates. But if they're a scammer, they're using that because that is true. Companies that are contractors for these cable companies, satellite, they can sometimes offer better discounts and better rates, which is why the prices fluctuate all the time. And you can call and get a better rate when your cable bill is going up. But these people know that, so they're using it to their advantage. So you're like, okay, Garrett, well, a little bit about how they know who we are. They can just go on the internet and find out and literally print it out and make up some fake Excel document that looks like that's their records. What about the shirt? You can go on eBay and buy a shirt that says Cox or AT&T or DirecTV. You can buy a hat. The contracting companies that use these, you can go buy their shirts and hats. So that's a really good, I say red flag. If they're door knocking one at a time, they don't have their vehicle with them, they say they're from out of state, they say they're a contractor, not a consultant. One thing I've done with somebody, they messed up and they said they weren't a consultant, they were with the company. I said, okay, well, if you don't mind, let me call my buddy that works there, see if he knows you. And they start backpedaling. They're like, oh, well, we work in a different section. And I'm like, oh, it's okay, he's in IT. He can run your name in the entire system and see. And they're like, oh, well, we're new and we might not be in the system yet. And I'm like, okay, well, sorry, I'm not interested. I'll just call them directly and get service from them direct. And you can kind of tell they know you know. So that's one thing you can kind of practice with them. Or not practice, but talk back and forth. I just like to just say, hey, there's no soliciting. We don't appreciate soliciting. We appreciate it if you would stop doing what you're doing. And some of them I've even called out and said, look, dude, I know you're scamming me right now. And they're like, why do you say that? I'm like, because I know you can get this information from anywhere. Tell me what my account number is. And they don't know. And I'm like, tell me what kind of service I have with y'all. They don't know. Or they'll guess. And be like, nope. Even if they get it right, it could have been a guess. I'll tell them no. And even if they know it's right or think it's right, sorry, let me restate that. Even if it was right and I tell them no, they know I know they're scamming. So they'll do something else. They won't say, well, my records indicate you have this service and show me my report, because they would have all the other information on there, right? So that's one thing you could do to get out of it. Something else, they try to get you like in the moment. They're like, well, this sale is only good for today. And if you say, well, I want to sleep on it, I don't like to make decisions hastily. They're like, well, unfortunately, this is only available today. All you have to do is give us a credit card for a $100 down payment. We'll charge you that today. We can call back for everything else later. It's another red flag. If they don't want you, if it sounds too good to be true, it's probably true. If you can't wait till the next day and do your due diligence to check up on it, it's not worth it. So don't give them a credit card number. Don't let them in your house, because then you might not get them leave, and then they got other information for you that they can gather through social intelligence and things of that nature. But yeah, so don't give out credit card information. I wouldn't even give them the time of day. Just basically tell them you're not interested and you don't appreciate their scam and they need to go somewhere else, because you're not going to put up with it. So we talked about email, we talked about text, we talked about people coming with the clothes. They know information about you. It's not hard to do. Anybody can do that on the internet nowadays. So how do you protect yourself from this? Well, aside from a no soliciting sign, which that doesn't even work half the time, I've had neighbors say they have signs on their doorbell that says, please do not ring the baby sleeping, or please do not knock the baby sleeping. They knock and ring the doorbell anyway, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see the sign, because they think that is a good person to get information from. If you're upset, you're not going to hastily give them away if you think it's a scam. You're going to be like, oh yeah, I do need bug spray, for instance. They're going to try to use that to their advantage. Oh, I'm so sorry. I have a 3-year-old or a 3-month-old. I didn't mean to ring the doorbell. I didn't see the sign. While I have you for a minute, if you just give me 30 seconds, they're going to use that to their advantage. Don't take that for what it's worth. Don't even answer the door sometimes, or just look at them, make a face, and shut the door. Say I'm not interested. With email, the only things you can really do is check them one at a time. Maybe mark them as spam and hope your filter catches them through the next time. On your phones, there's a way to get text to go into spam or phone calls to go into spam. The downside with phone calls is if you're expecting a phone call and you don't know the number it's coming from, you may miss it. And that's happened to me a couple of times, and it can be aggravating. So the quote-unquote app pick for this week is going to be how to set your phone up to block spam calls. So I'll show you how to do that. It's really easy. Same thing with same thing with text. There are third-party spam blockers, but they all cost money, and I'm not really familiar with all of them. If you're an AT&T customer, they do have an AT&T one, but I've never had 100% good luck with it, just because it doesn't block everything. And my opinion is you either want to block everything or you don't want to block anything, because if it's going to try to filter something, it's going to filter what doesn't need to be filtered. And if you can deal with anything and everything being filtered, just block it all. Make your life easier. My phone does not ring unless it's somebody within my phone contacts. It makes my life a whole lot easier. There's another hack you can do is to set focus modes. So I might show that real quick as well. But yeah, hope you're out there staying safe. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. So till next time, see ya.